time for Sports on the Bayou, a detailed account of the sports scene in Louisiana. Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Maury will break down the weekly Saints game, brought to you by the American flag, as well as the St. Martin and Bourke weekly LSU breakdown. Harry McCullough will bring us the Louisiana's Cajun Bayou Lafourche Parish segment, featuring key games of local interest. Dr. Pat, our favorite ENT, is always on top of the
asking all them questions. Why you asking all them questions? Making statements.
Stan Grava will bring us local pertinent medical sports information as well as high school sports. Martin False, that's me, will open up the mics in the crowd to see what's on the fans' mind. More talk and plenty of audience questions. Live from the Eugene and Lorraine Falls studios in Houma, Louisiana, it's time for Sports on the Bayou. And here's Mike Detillier.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another segment of Sports on the Bayou. Mike Detillier, along with the Cajun Cannon, Bobby Hebert. Rich Maury will be back right after these commercial announcements here on Sports on the Bayou.
Over the years, Louisiana's Cajun Bayou has seen more than its fair share of challenges. We're no strangers to adversity, and we know what it's like to struggle. These are unprecedented times, and while people will say this time is like nothing they've ever seen, we've heard that before, and just like all the other times, we'll get through this. Remember the good times. Remember Lafourche.
There are many strengths in our cancer center. I think one of the biggest is patients don't have to go elsewhere to get technology for their diagnosis and treatment of their cancer. Our treatment machine, the linear accelerator, allows us to pinpoint and treat cancers with more accuracy than ever was possible before. Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center provides leading-edge technology with the highest quality care and the best treatment options unique to each patient.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. You'll remember Lafourche. And by St. Martin and Bourke, attorneys at law. Know your rights. Sports on the Bayou corporate sponsors are South Louisiana Bank, i.e. Terrebonne General Health Systems and their Community Sports Institute. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. And BioPure, disinfecting environmental services. Now let's go back to Sports on the Bayou with Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Maury.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou. Guys, the Saints took it as good as it was a week ago. Man, it was every bit as bad Sunday, 26-7 loss to the Carolina Panthers, and they didn't do anything good. Deontay Harris was great in the return game. We saw some flashes from Peyton Turner as a pass rusher, but overall.
Well, Mike, the punter was good.
Yeah, Blake Gillikin.
Ty Montgomery.
But man, we really picked it from the high point of the tree going for that.
If you look at week one, we gave everybody a game ball, and the only one we didn't was Troutman. We didn't give him a game ball. But right now, we're taking all those game balls back. I mean, come on.
We got sucked in last week. We all got sucked in a little bit last week.
Because the Packers, I think, are still going to be in contention when all said and done. But I think Carolina is better than we think.
And they are well-coached football team.
Especially defensively, they could be better.
And Sam Darnold, how many times have you seen someone coming out of a bad situation and then really
he's at the right place.
He's in the right place. He's coached well. Right?
Joe Brady ran his offense. It was like LSU 101. Because he had explained to me, Mike, I love to run those inside patterns, slant patterns, get the guy the ball in space, pow, make a first down or you break a tackle out in the open field and get the ball out in the flat. Man, Christian McCaffrey, he's next level halfback.
And you take so much
listen,
pressure
we
off
all
the
love
quarterback.
Alvin Kamara, but I'm telling you right now, Alvin Kamara can't hold Christian McCaffrey's job.
No, he's good. Though.
No. Listen. What are you
Give him
bringing?
the hands.
Can you? Yeah. No.
Where is he? It's not like you and me.
Average,
We're a little closer than that.
No, but can you average 130 yards total from scrimmage? We just look at the first 2 games that Christian McCaffrey did now that he's healthy. Week 1, he was like 180 plus.
Yeah, but he's touching the ball 30-something times.
No, here's my fear with
Right?
McCaffrey.
Right.
They run him into the dirt.
Right.
They might run
He's
him into
touching
the
the ball
dirt, but
30.
so what is Alvin Kamara doing? There was 2 plays. Okay, Deuce always says this. If you're running on the left, football 101, put the ball in the left hand.
Right.
Alexander, the DB from Metairie.
Dante Jackson.
Not Alexander, Dante Jackson from LSU. All of a sudden, he tackles him. What? Put the ball in your left hand and stiff arm him. And you keep going. I looked at that. And then how about in the first down when he ran out of bounds? And he kind of did this with the ball to go forward. How about you lower your shoulder? Now, I want him available throughout the season. But to me, and you know why I think he should be more aggressive as a player? You know why? Because we paid him. Alvin Kamara's getting the big bucks. So what are you saving yourself for? Sell out for the team. That's why I'm kind of... Alvin Kamara is too cool for school. So,
we got that a little bit with Michael Thomas, too. Got the money. And
A little too bit of the cool for the school.
Well,
All right, guys, we're going to go to the highlights. So the Saints lost to the Panthers right off the bat. Sam Darnold.
That was like Aaron Rodgers bootleg
Man, and
last
that
year.
was a really, really nice praise. Brandon Zylstra comes up with the touchdown catch, and he had a ton of time. Sam right over the middle again to Robbie Anderson, 18 yards to the 16-yard line.
Debo, welcome to the NFL. They're going to continuously pick on you. He outstanding first game, not so much this game.
Zane Gonzalez makes the field goal, and then, man, pressure coming everywhere.
Who's blocking who? I don't know.
Fox and Hassan Reddick, and then that little inside slant. He loves to run that play. Gets a touchdown to DJ Moore.
Who's one of the
he's
best
a player
receivers
too
in the
now.
NFL.
And Jameis off balance throws this one up here. It gets intercepted.
That look like Jameis in Tampa Bay. We don't need that.
What a difference the day.
And then Darnold again feels a little bit of heat. The ball pops out.
Now, that was a New York Jets play for Sam Darnold.
Yeah,
Here. Like
and
panicking
Malcolm Roach
and having
comes
that-
up with the interception. And then Jameis runs it in, 8
Now, that was
yards for the
aggressive.
touchdown.
We like that. We like that Jameis has that ability.
But even at 17-7, I was like, there's no way this team's coming back. And then McCaffrey. Man, you talk about a tough dude dragging people into the end zone for the score. And then again, a lot of pressure. He feels it, no one open, throws it downfield, interception.
Throws a pop fly. Listen, that's the most frustrating thing as a quarterback. You're trying to do too much, and like everybody's saying, when the hell are you throwing it? I was like, I'm just trying.
And
Yeah,
that
like
was
he's got
the
Tourette's or
and that was the J.C. Horn, who got into a little confrontation with a guy. If I was him, I wouldn't be picking a fight with before a game.
Yeah, but
And that was
TV
Chauncey
news,
Garner-Johnson.
right, yeah.
Because you could read Garner-Johnson's lips. Man, you nothing but a punk. Get away from me.
Yeah,
And that
but,
started a little bit of a
But
fracas.
the only thing, J.C. Horn's playing, and Chauncey Garner-Johnson's not playing that game, so, but you can't tell him. He'll do whatever he wants.
Because he wants to get into Horn's head, so to
yeah.
speak.
And you know when it's tough to win a game, I said, I didn't like this. When the team has only 13 more net offensive yards at 128 than penalty yards.
11.
We had 115 yards in penalty. We had 128 in offense. What? I mean, come on. No, you would be dead last in the NFL if that would continue.
I told this to Bobby before, and so many people reminded me of it, of when you lose your center. And it's an old betting line that, man, I worked with Diliberto all those years, and we had money plunked on every game that a center would miss.
Mike, right?
It was like 79%, which is really 80%. 8 out of 10 games, you lose it the next week because that center's the time clock. He makes all the calls. He puts everybody in place. Man, they were running around there like they had no clue what was happening.
No, and it's Sean Payton knows that they don't have the ability of Drew Brees or like a center like Max Unger. When you look at McCoy not being available.
That is
I mean, Cesar Ruiz, The number one guy we need back is McCoy. I'm telling you, look at all the players that are hurt or suspended. We need McCoy to help Jameis Winston out.
We'll be back with more Sports on the Bayou.
Was your business interrupted by Hurricane Ida? You may be entitled to compensation. Insurance companies may try to pay you much less than your losses, or even deny your claim altogether. St. Martin and Bork and Hoffa's Duval are partnering together to fight for your fair payout. Go to myidaclaim.com for your free case review today. Never give up because your insurance company has denied your claim, and never accept a lowball offer. Let St. Martin and Bork and Hoffa's Duval help you weather the storm. Visit myidaclaim.com today.
Here at South Louisiana Bank, we support our neighbors, the organizers, the helpers, the leaders, the dreamers. We support those that move our community forward. Louisiana has grown from the dedication, commitment, and loyalty of the people who call this beautiful place home. We are proud to offer our services to the communities in South Louisiana. South Louisiana Bank. It's better when we bank together.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. You'll remember Lafourche. And by St. Martin and Bork, attorneys at law. Know your rights. Sports on the Bayou corporate sponsors are South Louisiana Bank, i.e. Terrebonne General Health Systems and their Community Sports Institute. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. And BioPure, disinfecting environmental services. Now let's go back to Sports on the Bayou with Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Maury.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou. Guys, good news this past Saturday, LSU 49-21 over Central Michigan. LSU gave up one huge play defensively in the first half, but Central Michigan was running for their life. LSU was after them, got a lot of pressure on the quarterback. They stopped the run. Max Johnson, again, another huge game, but it was the young kids. It was Jack Besh, the freshman, Deion Smith, Brian Thomas Jr., Corey Keiner at running back. And Ed's always said, man, I don't care about your classification. If you can play, you can play. And we see with Mason Smith on the defensive side, the football. This is certainly a step in the right direction watching them play on defense, because they're playing on defense like we've seen LSU in the past. Still giving up a big play now and then, but boy, do they converge on the football.
Well, the thing that, caught my attention, and we did take a step forward, we got gashed against the run against UCLA. And I was worried, Mike, because you even said this. This is kind of NFL running back given the opportunity.
He's an NFL running back.
Lou Nichols III. Okay, and I'm like, man, he might gash us like UCLA did with a big running back. But you know what, Mike? 18 yards on 12 carries. He averaged 1.8 yards a rush. To me, that was significant. More than anything, because that makes the quarterback play with more confidence for Central Michigan if he's able to run. I think that was the key to this game, not letting him get off, because it gives the quarterback confidence. Mike, if you'd have told me this one thing before the game, that Lou Nichols would have 18 yards on 12 carries, LSU's going to win easy. They're going to, just by that one thing, because time of possession, the tempo and all that, I thought that was critical.
Pressure, sacks too. When they went back to pass, man, it looked as though, and man, I really feel bad for Andre Anthony. He was a guy who came back for another season, his 6th year at LSU, and he didn't even get hit on that play. It was a non-contact injury, tears up his knees, out for the season, and LSU career.
Well, he'll have a chance to go to the NFL.
No, he can play at the NFL level.
He'll go to the NFL, but how healthy you are, and then if it doesn't work out, he got to get a real job. Listen, that's not necessarily a good thing sometimes, considering how well they pay you in the NFL, but it's reality.
What's significant about that now is Mason Smith from Terrebonne High School, they are moving him from tackle to end.
On the edge.
And Babay tell me, said, Mike, you were never so right about a guy in your life about how good that guy can rush your quarterback. And he's saying, listen, potentially he could be the best lineman we have. He's just 17 years old. Just think about that. And hopefully we'll get Ali Gay back this week.
17 years old. Does he have body hair? I mean, it just started.
I didn't check him out there, right?
Bobby, you're what, 60? You don't have body hair.
No, I was like 16 years and 10 months was the first time I shaved. And
no, he ain't shaved in 2 weeks. Look at him now.
And the thing is, I didn't really have to shave. I had peach fuzz, so I was like, I want to feel like I'm a man, so I just shaved just to be shaving.
We're going to go to the highlights of LSU's win over Central Michigan. Max Johnson back to pass, and there's a guy you're going to be hearing a lot about, Jack Besh. Gets the first down, and man, he is one tough dude out on the football field. Tremendous football player, also was a great basketball player. Then Max throws it up, and Deion Smith, #1 ranked player in the state of Mississippi, goes up and makes the catch.
What's critical about that is a lot of 50-50 balls.
Yep.
And listen, LSU should, because of the talent, make those plays.
It looks like a Randy Moss.
Andre Anthony picks up the fumble. Derek Stingley goes in for the score. Then Max again, throwing it deep downfield, and Deion Smith again, 40 yards for a touchdown. Jack Besh on that one.
Yep.
And then again, man, Max is doing a great job throwing it downfield, finding the open receivers. And this little whoopsie-doo there to get around the tackle. And then you're going to be hearing a lot about this guy too, Corey Keiner, young freshman running back, breaking a couple tackles. And Corey gets it down to the 46-yard line. But man, Corey, he is really built from the waist down. He's a tough tackle, one-on-one downfield, and he gets it in for the score. Over 70 yards rushing. And Ed has made it clear, I think the potential of some of these other upperclassmen, it is potential. I'm going to play the kids. I'm going with the young guys.
No, you have to win. Come on, you have to win or you don't have a job. I mean, come on. That's the bottom line. You got to get it done. Now, I thought was interesting is that, they were going against that being Mississippi State the next game. Mike, if you look at what Memphis was doing, talk about productive offense.
Man, Memphis moved the football up and down the field against
them. But Mike, this is interesting, though. They were averaging 633.5 yards a game, and they were putting up 48.5 points. The Bulldogs' defense allowed just 246 total yards and 17 points. I think it was like a couple of plays, a turnover on the first offensive snap.
They shortened it up.
From Mississippi State, and then the miscues on special teams.
But Mississippi State's offense is all misjumbled right now. You can see this isn't the football team they played to open the season last year. It's a totally different football team. They're playing with absolutely no confidence. So take it to them.
The bottom line is LSU has to win. They have to win. Listen, Ole Miss, I think that would be an upset if they were playing them right now. But Mississippi State, I think LSU's better.
But I can't let this segment go too far.
How about Penn State?
Yeah. How about Penn State?
They better get better because Auburn's
on the
schedule. They're going to score some points against Auburn.
So, Rich, I actually watched that game, and I was impressed with the whiteout. So, did you have a pom-pom? Because I know you had the game.
I was on the sideline.
Did you have a white pom-pom?
I have. In fact, I bought 3 or 4 for you to take back with you.
Oh, no.
That's all you need.
Well, when you have a lot of people shaking pom-poms, that's impressive.
Over the years, Louisiana's Cajun Bayou has seen more than its fair share of challenges. We're no strangers to adversity, and we know what it's like to struggle. These are unprecedented times, and while people will say this time is like nothing they've ever seen, we've heard that before, and just like all the other times, we'll get through this. Remember the good times. Remember Lafouche.
If you have nasal breathing difficulties, snoring, mouth breathing, gritting and grinding of your teeth, TMJ, or headaches during the day, along with fatigue, depression, weight gain, you may have sleep apnea, which can easily be diagnosed via an in-office visit and home sleep study. If you are a loved one or having these symptoms and it's impacting your life, please schedule an appointment with us for an evaluation.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. You'll remember Lafourche. And by St. Martin and Bork, attorneys at law. Know your rights. Sports on the Bayou corporate sponsors are South Louisiana Bank, i.e. Terrebonne General Health Systems and their Community Sports Institute. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. And BioPure, disinfecting environmental services. Now let's go back to Sports on the Bayou with Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Maury.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou, where Rich is going to get Bobby some pom-poms. We're going to throw it to Martin. Martin.
All right, Mom says she's on her way back from evacuation. She misses all of y'all, so Lorraine Falls will be back next week. So we can't do shows without Lorraine Falls. Exactly. I'm telling you right now. Exactly. All right, we have naming sponsors, Archie Chesson. Chuck, raise your hand. I'm just kidding.
We all know. Everybody just wants to see.
Listen, he follows orders real well, Mark.
I just want to see if he would do it. Okay. Archie, great job. I know you took a little time to come here to the show, but y'all are rocking and rolling over there. And you got some guests. First of all, can we give our military, law enforcement, fire personnel, government officials a round of applause? There you go. Stand up.
That's more than
Stand
that.
up.
That's more than that.
All right. Beautiful job. Not only for your service, what you've been doing in Lafourche and Terrebonne in the area. Archie, you got the floor.
Yeah, thank you, Martin. So I took a little bit of time because I wanted to bring these two guys with us. Sergeant First Class Bayou has been with us from day one in the EOC, has been rocking these pods out and other things we've been doing. Major Treadway moved in with his engineering group who's helping us clean outfall canals, get people's drainage back up and running. These guys are the heroes. Our law enforcement, our fire guys, our EMS workers. I got to sit in the chair and watch the wind blow. These were the guys who were out there humping it for us.
I'm getting them some pom-poms.
No doubt. Get them some pom-poms. But look, you know, as we kind of put Louisiana's Cajun Bayou back together, it's going to be a long haul. Still a lot of people hurting, but we're going to do it. One community, one goal. God's going to get us through it.
And Archie, I have a question for you. Is you holding, the nation or FEMA, whatever, President Biden, their feet to the fire as far as having electricity back? Is it September 29th? Is that the target date?
So I think we're going to beat that date. We're about 30% of the way, left people without power.
It's a little quicker than I think we thought it would be.
It has been. Still some pockets that still need it, but we're going to hold the president and FEMA to fire as long as we can until we take care of our people.
All right. Now, Chuck's been with his firm, St. Martin and Bork, been doing tremendous things in the community. And I know they don't do it for recognition, but I'm going to give him some. Y'all have done a great job of doing some giveaways. Just tell us a little bit about it, Chuck.
Well, Martin, we started off doing little things. When we first got back in, the office was shut down. We didn't have power. So we started with ice. People was one of the things we really recognized a lot of people didn't have. There were days we did ice and food. More people were asking for ice than they were for food. So we did, I think, 4 different days where we gave away over 500 bags of ice a day. We did a cook at the office one day. The thing I keep talking about is this is not where it's easy. We got a lot of people here right now. The tough times are going to be in the next 1, 2, 3 months.
Right.
Yeah. We don't have the national attention. We're losing it. So we're doing some more cooks. I'll get you the dates when we're doing it. We're going to do a cook down the Bayou here in Terrebonne Parish, one down the Bayou in Lafourche Parish. But that's the word we're trying to get out when I hear people from out of town saying, what can we do? Be here for us in about a month. Yeah. Like Archie said, we still have people without power. We got people without roofs. We got people living in tents. So all the groups that are asking us, what can we do? Come down here in 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, because it's still going to be here. The bad effects of this are still going to be here. So we've done it up to this point. We're going to continue doing it. Like we said, the sign in front of our office, Bayou Strong. We're going to get there. We're going to get it done, but we still need some help.
We're going to make it happen. We'll take a short break. We'll be back board to list our corporate sponsors, and we'll also talk about a fallen soldier here in Terrebonne Parish.
In the aftermath of Hurricane Ida, insurance companies may try to pay you much less than your losses or even deny your claim altogether. St. Martin and Bork and Hoffest of All are partnering together to help you during this difficult time. Our hurricane insurance recovery attorneys will fight for you and your loved ones. Go to myidaclaim.com for your free case review today. Never give up because your insurance company has denied your claim, and never accept a lowball offer. Let St. Martin and Bork and Hoffest of All help you weather the storm. Visit myidaclaim.com today.
Now more than ever, your heart health should be a priority. Trust your care to Cardiovascular Institute of the South, a world leader in the diagnosis and treatment of heart disease, vascular disease in the legs, vein problems, and heart valve disease. CIS cardiologists offer the most advanced, innovative, and compassionate care for the complete health of your heart and legs. Schedule an appointment at one of our 5 locations in the Bayou region. Visit us at cardio.com.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. You'll remember Lafourche. And by St. Martin and Bork, attorneys at law. Know your rights.
Sports on the Bayou corporate sponsors are South Louisiana Bank, i.e. Terrebonne General Health Systems and their Community Sports Institute. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. And BioPure, disinfecting environmental services.
Now let's go back to Sports on the Bayou with Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Maury.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou. Martin, I'll throw it to you.
Before we get to Sean Connery, Harry McCullough.
Yeah.
All right, we got corporate sponsors in house. Not all could make it today. A lot of people still trying to get here. Give it up for South Louisiana Bank, folks. How about Terrebonne General Health System and their Community Sports Institute? And we know they're still working hard, both COVID and devastation at the hospital. How about Barker Honda and Lester and his group are here. And we have Alford and Associates, and of course we know they're working. They're in the insurance business for sure. And we have a new sponsor this year, BioPure, and they're doing a lot of spraying, so obviously they can't be here today. But we're going to kick it off to Harry. And Harry, what you got for us today?
Well, we're talking Nichols and the Colonels in the local sports scene. And I tell you, the Colonels are 0-2, but they're off to a decent start. You know, they lost to Memphis in that first week, and we saw Memphis, pretty good team, as they knocked off Mississippi State this week. Then they took on UL Lafayette, and they lose by 3. Now, they're down 7. They're on the goal line. They have 3 shots to punch it in to tie the score in the third quarter, and they get stoned right there. The next time they have the ball, they throw a pick 6. So it goes from, instead of being tied at 17, to be down 24 to 10. And they make a nice little comeback, and they get it to within 27-24 is the final. So the Colonels.
So, Harry, the moral of the story is, get the ball to Dejon Dixon when you're near the goal line. Come on. Well, even I can figure that one out.
They kept running. I think they only had a few yards. But, yeah, Lindsey Scott had almost 500 yards offense, running and passing. But Dejon Dixon, 14 catches for 198 yards.
And they still trying to cover.
Right. They're just playing pitch and catch, and they're doing a good job. But, yeah, they get stoned there, and then it kind of breaks. But UL's a top 20 team in the preseason, so that's no problem there. So they take on North Alabama. North Alabama's 0-3. So they lost to Southeastern last week. So hopefully they're at home. They get back home. So hopefully they'll get going. But then they start Southland Conference play. Southland Conference play this year, 8 games against 4 teams. Or actually against 4, but they play 3 teams twice in the same season. So it's kind of like high school. Sometimes you play a team in the postseason, you know.
Well, it's like the NFC
season.
South.
The
Saints play Carolina twice, play Atlanta, then Tampa Bay
twice. And this year, I don't want to play Southeastern twice. I seen that cat throw the football, Cole Kelly.
That's a good-looking player.
Be a challenge.
Harry, I have a question for you. I wish that you were announcing when I played with the Saints, because a decent start at 0-2 We would have been heroes back then.
I did do the same thing when you played.
Thank you.
Hey, I'm a sunshine pumper, man.
So Harry's looking at the glass half full
I like
instead
it.
of half
I like
empty.
it. I'm
Hey,
impressed.
look, we say, man, they weren't great, but did you see Marty? He almost broke that ball.
Almost horseshoes and hand grenades.
Almost got back to the 25-yard line.
Almost blocked that punt.
But no, hey, listen,
ifs and buts,
I
right?
agree with you, Harry. You have to look at the competition. Memphis.
Right.
When you look, they just beat Mississippi
Right.
State. And you have to look at UL. UL had a big win.
Yeah,
Like,
good.
who did they beat this week?
Look, that's the historic for these teams. They have to go make their budget. So they have to go kind of get their nose bloody to begin the season. Hopefully you come out of it.
And they lost that money game a year ago against LSU. Just think about that.
So
because of
hopefully
the
you come
COVID
out of where you're
situation.
not too beat up. UL did it for many years. They played the Southeastern Conference road schedule. They go play Alabama,
A&M?
A&M every year. So it's something these teams have to do. Then you come home, you get a player, you get North Alabama, hopefully you beat them, and then you Houston Baptist twice, Southeastern twice, Incarnate Word twice, Northwest once, and McNeese.
Hey, let me say something real quick, Rich, in your defense. Rich was all pro. He made the Pro Bowl, right? What year was that?
He wasn't all pro, Martin.
He was all pro.
He might have been Pro Bowl.
Rich was all pro.
1979.
There you go. Thank you.
They didn't have special teams.
No, Pro Bowl or all pro?
Well, Pro Bowl is all
Pro
pro.
Bowl. They didn't have all pro.
Oh, okay, they didn't have all pro.
Hey,
All
okay.
pros, AFC, NFC.
We splitting hairs here. We splitting hairs. He's a Pro
So you
Bowl.
are a
Bob,
Pro Bowl.
now wait a second. I got to clarify something. Bobby didn't know that when we were doing this evaluation thing. So I think I narrowed the gap a little bit with that. Now that you have your information,
No, I
because you're
knew
all
you
about
were-
information.
I knew you were a Pro Bowler.
All right, guys,
I
we'll
knew
be
you were a
back
Pro
with more
Bowler. I
Sports
was
on
a
the
Pro
Bayou.
Bowler, but all pro. That's different.
Over the years, Louisiana's Cajun Bayou has seen more than its fair share of challenges. We're no strangers to adversity, and we know what it's like to struggle. These are unprecedented times. And while people will say this time is like nothing they've ever seen, we've heard that before. And just like all the other times, we'll get through this. Remember the good times. Remember Lafouche.
Curtis Calais Welding has been providing contract labor for the offshore oil and gas industry for over 28 years. Curtis Calais Welding is now hiring. All applicants must have a TWIC card and be able to pass an occupational medical exam and a drug screen. Triple C Towing has a fleet of 2 inland tugs to provide service for the oil and gas industry. All vessels are provided with experienced personnel, and we do what we say we will do. Curtis Calais Welding, now hiring, and Triple C Towing, ready to work.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. You'll remember Lafouche. And by St. Martin and Bork, attorneys at law. Know your rights. Sports on the Bayou corporate sponsors are South Louisiana Bank, i.e. Terrebonne General Health Systems and their Community Sports Institute. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. And BioPure, disinfecting environmental services. Now let's go back to Sports on the Bayou with Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Maury.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou. Stan, you got it, brother.
High school football trying to get back at it after the storm. We had a couple of local teams that did play this past weekend. Let's take a look at the Week 3 report for high school football. After the devastation of Ida, a little bit of normalcy in our high school Bayou region, a couple of our local teams get back at action as E.D. White travels out to Assumption to take on Assumption High School. The Mustangs already one game under their belt. They're 1-0 after a big win against Plaquemine. E.D. White travels down to the Assumption 9-yard line on their first possession, but a missed handoff here to Braxton Como from Jake Sternfels. A turnover. Assumption gets the ball. 2 plays later, they return the favor. Sage Rivera can't get the handoff to his running back. J.J. Jones recovers it for E.D. White. And the Cardinals convert on the turnover. A big Braxton Como from his tailback position bowls over into the end zone after the extra point. E.D. White leads this one 7-0. And then it turns into a defensive struggle. A lot of bend don't break defense in this one, mostly on the part of E.D. White. The Mustangs did have a few opportunities in the third quarter. They had a drive going, but here on fourth down, after the completion, it wasn't enough for the first. E.D. White gets the ball back here. Early in the fourth quarter, the Mustangs get the ball back in pretty good field position. Jake Sternfels turns it over for the Cardinals. But again, E.D. White comes up with a terrific defensive play. Here is Nathan Johnson, defensive end for the Cardinals, on the big sack of Rivera. Cardinals get the ball back again. The Mustangs had one more effort to try and tie it up in regulation. With about 3 minutes left in the game, a big completion to LeJairus Williams as he runs down the sideline, gets it deep into Cardinal territory. A game-saving push out of bounds by Charlie Hunt of the Cardinals. On the next play, it's going to be Sage Rivera again. Nice pass over the middle. This time he hooks up with Dontrell Thompson. He gets it down inside the 20-yard line. But on fourth down, with less than 30 seconds left, J.J. Jones of E.D. White knocks down the Rivera pass, secures the win for the Cardinals. They come up with win number 1 on the season in their first game back after the hurricane. The Cardinals win it 7-0 over Assumption. In Morgan City, it was 1A Covenant Christian traveling to take on Morgan City's Tigers of 4A football. And this one was all Morgan City on their first possession. Charlie Wells hits James Richardson. He carries it deep into CCA territory. On the very next play, it's Wells doing the honors as he bowls over from the 1-yard line. Early lead for Morgan City High School. CCA gets the ball, big turnover, big tackle by Hilton Hebert, and he recovers at the 1-yard line. Another very short drive for the Tigers, as on the next play, it's James Richardson who hauls it in. He's into the end zone early, 14-0 lead. CCA gets it back. First play from scrimmage, an interception picked off by Morgan City. The Tigers don't take too much time with this one. Again, it is Wells. He throws it down to Logan Liston for the touchdown for the Tigers. CCA does score a couple of late touchdowns in this one. Braden Buquet on the touchdown here for the Lions. Morgan City wins it 34-22. Our only other game that featured a Bayou Region team was out at Newman High School in the New Orleans area as Vanderbilt Catholic fell to Newman 28-0 behind Arch Manning's 265 yards passing for the Greenies. Other scores of note from St. Mary Parish: Patterson defeats Central Catholic. Franklin gets by Berwick. Out on the river, St. James has no problems with Landry Walker. They win that one 41-26. Donaldsonville, a big winner. Ascension Catholic, a big win over Hannon. And Hanson just goes down to Westminster. Unfortunately, due to the aftermath of Ida, 3 big rival games were not played this past week. South Lafourche, Central Lafourche, H.L. Bourgeois Ellender, and Terrebonne against South Terrebonne were all canceled. And week 4 is the week we're supposed to have all of our Bayou Region high schools back in action. Fingers crossed. Scheduled to play on Friday night, it will be South Terrebonne at Live Oak. On Saturday morning, it'll be Terrebonne against H.L. Bourgeois at Tom B. Smith. On Friday night, St. James at Assumption. On Saturday morning, on the campus of Thibodaux High School, it'll be South Lafourche taking on E.D. White. Ellender's supposed to play in the New Orleans area against McMain. They're still looking for a playing site there. Vanderbilt Catholic is traveling out to Brobridge on Friday night. Ben Franklin going to take on Covenant Christian at John L. Guidry on the campus of Nicholls State. Thibodaux High School taking on East St. John, but it's not known who's going to be the home team in that one quite yet. And finally, Kenner Discovery is traveling to Morgan City to take on the Tigers on Friday night.
Thank you, Stan. We appreciate it. We want to introduce somebody new to our set, Miss Kaylin Porsche. And Kaylin, you can introduce the next segment, huh? You can take care of it from Rich. He don't say too much.
You don't say too much.
No, he doesn't say too much. Bobby interrupts him all the time.
No, that is true.
No, y'all was clowning up here. I don't know. This is what I brought for y'all, some SpaghettiOs to show my appreciation for y'all.
Hey, listen, that's old school. I love SpaghettiOs, raviolis.
No, because he'd probably keep it, both of them.
Campbell, Chef Boyardee, whatever. I mean, come on. There's
gotta
nothing
heat
wrong
it
with
up,
this when
though.
you're hungry. I can tell you that.
Thanks so much, Kayla. We appreciate it you joining
Y'all
us today.
for letting me join y'all today.
That
That's
was
so
great.
amazing.
We appreciate it.
I work with Coastal Safety.
Say it again?
I work for Coastal Safety.
So how's everything, your responsibilities, how you've handled adversity, and what they asking you to do? So
I drive around, go see our customers, see if they need any safety training, and I go see new customers.
awesome.
It's a great job. We appreciate it. Thanks so much for dropping by today, Ms. Galen Pouchet. We'll be back with more sports on the Bayou.
Was your business interrupted by Hurricane Ida? You may be entitled to compensation. Insurance companies may try to pay you much less than your losses, or even deny your claim altogether. St. Martin and Bork and Hoffest of All are partnering together to fight for your fair payout. Go to myidaclaim.com for your free case review today. Never give up because your insurance company has denied your claim, and never accept a lowball offer. Let St. Martin and Bork and Hoffest of All help you weather the storm. Visit myidaclaim.com today.
Bacteria and germs run rampant in the air that surrounds us. It's more important than ever to keep our surroundings clean. Introducing BioPure. Specializing in commercial and residential disinfection applications, BioPure's advanced treatment process allows them to disinfect more surfaces quickly and effectively, with no inconvenience to staff or family members. Let BioPure help you create a better environment for everyone. Call for your free consultation today at 985-322-3003.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. You'll remember Lafourche. And by St. Martin and Bork, attorneys at law. Know your rights. Sports on the Bayou corporate sponsors are South Louisiana Bank, i.e. Terrebonne General Health Systems and their Community Sports Institute. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. And BioPure, disinfecting environmental services. Now let's go back to Sports on the Bayou with Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Maury.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou. Doc, good to see you again, brother. I hope you're doing okay and you made out okay for the storm.
Yes, a heart goes out to everybody affected by Ida, the people that need health care, the heroes that are taking care of our community and rebuilding and cleaning it up. Our office is open at 4275 West Main. If somebody needs help, give us a call, come on over. I went to the LSU game last week, and the thing I noticed is when we got four wideouts and a single back, there's a certain style of back that really works well in that offense, like a Clyde Edwards-Helaire, somebody who, like Mac was saying, can set up blocks, make a guy miss, because you make that one guy miss, you can go.
Right.
And it just looks like Ty Davis-Price may be a good back for an I formation power offense, but he's not elusive enough to make that guy miss or to. And what are your thoughts about when you're recruiting backs, if a kid's an I back or a power back versus an elusive back, who's going to work better in that offense?
Yeah, especially what type of offense you're running. It does matter to running back. You can have success in high school. You say, well, great running back's a great running back. But can they pick and they make one cut and they go north and south? Now, when you talk about Emory, I think he's more like Nick Brissett. Now, if you look at it like you plant, then you go on upfield. They're not really being elusive, making people miss. So it does matter who you're giving the opportunities to. So that's why Mike. Listen, even though Emory, you look at He's supposed to be the bell cow. He's still the starter, Coach O said, but I don't know if that's going to be the situation as the season continues. You give him opportunities, but it's all about the production at that position.
Like 0.6 yards per carry.
Yeah, no, it ain't happening.
It goes back to whether you get the players for the offense that you have, or you adjust the offense to the players that you.
He wants to run Joe Brady's old offense. He better get him running backs that can catch the ball. That's the thing that Clyde does. Okay, how many passes you saw out to the running backs the last 3 games?
Hardly any.
Yeah.
What Clyde did, set you up, get separation downfield, make the catch. He takes off.
Well, you have to be a running back that's, even though you're a running back and have that skill set to make people miss, you got to be like a receiver. It's not like I'm going to catch the ball some of the time. You got to catch it all of the time.
Now that they got the receivers catching the deep routes like Deion Smith, best catching the intermediate routes, that ought to set up the chance for someone to catch balls out the backfield.
Without a doubt.
It should, but you got to find that guy that can do it. I don't think that Davis is a great receiver coming out of the backfield.
No.
I don't think Tyron is. We haven't seen enough of Corey Keiner for me to say one way or another. But who Ed talked about a lot was the kid from Alabama, Goodwin.
Yeah, he got an ankle
he can
right
catch
now.
the football coming out of the backfield. So, again, that's what you got to recruit now. You got to recruit somebody who can catch the football. It's such an integral part of your offense. And who it opens up? Keyshawn Butte.
Oh, yeah.
It opens it up, everything for him at that particular time.
And then how you feel the defense is doing, they're starting to look good. And it's like Coach O said a few years ago, his goal was to have a dominant front 4 D-line like he used to have at Miami with Warren Sapp and all those guys, that if you can put pressure on the quarterback with 4, you can drop 7.
Well, the thing is, first off, now we all got disappointed in the UCLA game. They got smashed in the mouth. That's why I say again, Mike, and we talked about this.
Stop the run.
I was so encouraged what they did against Lou Nichols. Because, Mike, he's an NFL player, and they held him to 18 yards on 12 carries, a big back.
Okay, who's the back for Mississippi State?
I don't know. Tell me.
Okay, if you don't know who he is, then they don't have that guy.
Okay.
They had it a year ago in Kalen Hill.
I'm looking. They acknowledged the quarterback and a couple of receivers, but no running back.
That's the thing. And Mike Leach, has he ever been a guy to really dedicate to the run?
Hell
Pitch
no.
and catch.
The air
That's what he
raid,
wants
the air
to
raid
do.
offense. I mean, he
wants to sling it.
I don't know. It's 1st and 10 or 3rd and 1. I'm still throwing it.
Doc, thanks so much. We appreciate it, brother. Take care. We'll be back with more sports on the Bayou.
Over the years, Louisiana's Cajun Bayou has seen more than its fair share of challenges. We're no strangers to adversity, and we know what it's like to struggle. These are unprecedented times, and while people will say this time is like nothing they've ever seen, we've heard that before. And just like all the other times, we'll get through this. Remember the good times. Remember Lafouche.
At Barker Honda, we're overflowing with used cars.
We have over 100 used cars, trucks, and SUVs priced to sell.
Many units under $8,000. Save thousands on light and used certified vehicles.
At Barker Honda, every unit goes through a 120-point inspection.
So you can buy with confidence.
Come see us today here at Barker Honda Used Cars.
Because you know it's better at Barker.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. You'll remember Lafouche. And by St. Martin and Bork, attorneys at law. Know your rights. Sports on the Bayou corporate sponsors are South Louisiana Bank, i.e. Terrebonne General Health Systems and their Community Sports Institute. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. Alford and Associates for all of your insurance needs. And BioPure, disinfecting environmental services. Now let's go back to Sports on the Bayou with Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Maury.
We're back here on Sports on the Bayou. Martin, you got it, brother.
Have a moment of silence for Austin Bush, the young Houma police officer that was tragically killed this week, and we'll talk more about him. So a moment of silence, please, for Austin and his family. And what a sad moment it was, but you might recall his father. And if we could roll a little footage, you remember the sprinkler guy that would do the sprinkling and spray the drinks out there in the show? Well, that was Bill Bush. That was the young man's father, as we can see him on many of our shows over the years. And this was a subtle sprinkler that he did. But I saw the father and the mother. He lost his son in a tragic accident. First Houma police officer killed on duty that we can ever recall. So our condolences to his entire family, and it's just a tough day in Terrebonne, Mike.
Yeah, it sure is. And boy, you think about him, and you lose your child, and that's difficult in today's world when you lose one of your kids. So, man, our hearts and prayers go out to him. That's a really tough situation.
Yeah, and he had the personality of his dad.
Oh, yeah, because sometimes he would sort of follow his dad in some of the tailgates and everything else. So.
And he was just beloved at the funeral this morning. Of course, everybody was going. You could just tell the loyalty. There's one thing about being in law enforcement. That's a family, brother. When somebody perishes, they all have your back, no doubt.
We think football's like that, but the fraternity is tight. My father-in-law was a
Well, and if you know, going forward, and listen, I'm being a little political here, but Black Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's just the way in the world we live in, and so we have to acknowledge that.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, our condolences to the entire Bush family, and we appreciate all the service of our law enforcement. We'll be right back.
In the aftermath of Hurricane Ida, insurance companies may try to pay you much less than your losses or even deny your claim altogether. St. Martin and Bork and Hoffest of All are partnering together to help you during this difficult time. Our hurricane insurance recovery attorneys will fight for you and your loved ones. Go to myidaclaim.com for your free case review today. Never give up because your insurance company has denied your claim, and never accept a lowball offer. Let St. Martin and Bork and Hoffest of All help you weather the storm. Visit myidaclaim.com today.
Tony Alford and Priscilla Larpenter have been the foundation of what is now Alford & Associates. Their passion and vision have been embedded company-wide. It's not just about insurance. It's about making sure that our community is strong and protected for the next generation.
We analyze and then custom design your insurance policies to fit your business's needs, not the insurance carriers.
It's quite simple. It's the mindset of our organization to protect you from life's hardships.
Your benefits are our business.
Sports on the Bayou is brought to you by Louisiana's Cajun Bayou. You'll remember Lafourche. And by St. Martin and Bork, attorneys at law. Know your rights. Sports on the Bayou corporate sponsors are South Louisiana Bank, i.e. Terrebonne General Health Systems and their Community Sports Institute. Barker Honda, the Barker family tradition of quality. Alford & Associates for all of your insurance needs. And BioPure, disinfecting environmental services. Now let's go back to Sports on the Bayou with Mike Detillier, Bobby Hebert, and Rich Maury.
We're finishing up here on Sports on the Bayou. Guys, important week this weekend for both LSU and the Saints. I feel pretty good about LSU. I think they've turned the corner defensively. They're not a good running team, and they're not going to be a good running team all year long, but they can chunk it. Man, my big fear is the Saints. You're going up against Bill Belichick, and he watched that film of how they attacked the Saints offensive line and Jameis Winston, and if Eric McCoy is not in the lineup, you're in trouble.
Yeah, I think Belichick, you kind of get the feeling he's got it together, and he's just chiseling away, getting better and better every week. So
and the kid's done well at quarterback. Matt Jones has done a good job.
And the thing is, it's a copycat lead. I mean, until they see that you're picking up all these stunts, you're going to keep seeing them week in and week out. But now you got to remember, who that nation, that we thought the team would be 1-1 right now. If you're realistic, we thought we would lose to Green Bay and beat Carolina, but we're still 1-1. So when you look at that before the bye, you know what you have to do? You might say, oh, well, what if we lose to the Patriots 1-2? No, if you could tell me right now we're going to beat the Giants and beat the Washington football team, I would take that in a New York minute. Or second,
that you would
whatever.
be 3-2 right now.
Yes, because
with all the injuries
that's
and everything
what we
else.
kind of thought, Mike, that the Patriots game is important, but when the tiebreaker comes at the back end of the season, it's not as important because AFC versus NFC, we do head-to-head. That's why, listen, I want to win this game, but we have to beat a team like the Giants and not the Redskins, but the Washington football team that next week.
All right, great seeing you guys again. We'll be back next week with another version of Sports on the Bayou.
Who dat?